questions, microphone, how's this working?
Start there. Yeah, give it to him. Yeah.
You can handle the microphone, unless you'd like to sing something for us.
Go ahead.
Coach,
Yes,
how you doing?
I'm good, Tracy.
After
You're good every time you win, so.
good. Oh, after watching them for a month, getting that impression about what you've seen, and then finally seeing them on the field, did they live up to your impression? Did they overachieve? Well, generally, what's your impression of what you saw from them?
I think selfishly, to be honest with you, you'd like to win games like this because there's a lot of things we can correct. There were a lot of self-inflicted wounds that I think were on us that weren't from the opponent that I think we can iron out, and it's going to make us better as a football team. But the one thing we talk about is that competitors respond, and I think the way we responded in the second half, Dante and J. Mike hooking up there where our offense didn't have a lot of good things going for a couple stretches there, but for them to hook up on that big play, I thought that was a big answer on that drive. And for our defense to go out on the field and John Humphrey to have an interception, I think that was a really good answer, and that's what competitors do. They respond. It wasn't pretty, by any stretch of the imagination, but sometimes as a coach you like it not pretty, so that we got their attention when we get the films tomorrow. So
Talk a little bit about the performances of your two quarterbacks.
yeah, I think Garbers wants the first one back, but the other two interceptions were protection issues, and the quarterback's getting hit while he's throwing the ball, so I don't fault the quarterback in that. We'll look at the film and figure out where the breakdown was and how do we make sure we handle that a little bit better. The one Dante threw in the end zone was just a very bad call by the play caller, so he'll get reprimanded. But I thought they performed, and we're excited about the next step. But it's a lot easier when the next step's coming after 1-0, not 0-1. Half the teams in the country lost today, and half the teams in the country won today, and we're fortunate to be on that side of it. So there's a lot we got to work on, but it's in a positive vein. So.
Chip, I know you don't like these 7:30 games, but I'm sure the fans in Manila were.
They were fired up.
They were fired up, especially.
We
in the
zoomed
fourth
with them
quarter.
just in the locker room, so they're fired up. They had a great little breakfast buffet going, and it was good. So, and the people in Maui got a chance to do it prime time for them, so we could do some great things. And I'll thank Josh Rebholz and Martin Jarman and the rest of our athletic department for putting together that support for what's gone in a tragic situation, but using our platform in UCLA football to at least shed some light on how we can help those people.
Dante's first drive, especially that long pass to Sturdivant, the young kid like that, and also transfer coming in. Just what was it like seeing that pass and them two hooking up early?
Yeah, it's something that we've had an opportunity to see because he did it during the spring and he did it during preseason camp. But it was just a heck of a play by him. It was an off-schedule play. He got flushed from the pocket, but he does a great job of keeping his eyes downfield. And we work on scramble drill a lot, and for J. Mike to take it deep and Dante to have his eyes up, that's a special quality. Sometimes quarterbacks, when they get flushed, their eyes go down. They're looking, are they going to get hit and who they're running away from. But the special ones keep their eyes up, and big plays can happen. And that was a huge play for him at a point in time when we needed it. So I was really pleased with him on that.
And then the TD to steal, that was just going through the progression.
Yeah, he went through his progression, so he got through everybody on that. Looked at 2 routes into the boundary, then 2 routes coming from the field, and the back was the final check down. And as he got flushed up, I think he understands the timing in his head. And if you're at that point in time when you have to step up in the pocket, it's got to come out to the last guy. And Carson was wide open. I thought it was a good play on both of them.
You mentioned the Humphrey interception. What do you think of the secondary overall, able to pick off McCall twice there under the new defensive coordinator?
Yeah, I don't know if people know how good a quarterback Grayson McCall is. Coming into this, he's the all-time leader in Division I football history. He had 78 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in his career. And for us to come in here and pick him twice is, I think that's really rare. That's never happened in his career, and he's a heck of a football player. So I was pleased with how our guys played, but there's a lot of things we need to clean up, and we'll get back to work tomorrow.
And then you talked about the self-inflicted wounds with a lot of offsides, a couple after the play penalties. Do you think that's just first game nerves, a lot of energy? What are you looking to do to fix that going into the next game?
Oh, yeah, we've got to fix it, so we'll address that tomorrow.
TJ and Carson finished with 76 yards apiece tonight. What did you like about each of them tonight?
Yeah, I think they're both complement each other really well. They both run very physical, so you can see them run through some sometimes when there's an unblocked safety, they've got some physicality to them where they can run through a tackle, and that's always a bonus, you know. And I thought both of them really complemented each other really well, and they'll continue to grow. They got their first kind of, you know, TJ's played for us, and obviously Carson's played a lot of football, but now it's Carson's first time with us. So I think, you know, the first time you see it, first time you got a game in the Rose Bowl, you know, kind of all those things all of them were first for him. So, you know, we get our chance to take our first road trip this week, so we'll continue to see him grow as he gets going, because he's a special player, and so is TJ. They're both special players.
Coach, beyond talking about the secondary, what did you make of the pass rush as well as the run defense today in the front seven? You know, saw a lot of sacks in that second half. What do you make of
They did,
where they are?
and they've been, you know, I really believe that our front seven has been our strength defensively. We did lose a couple safeties in Mo Osling and Blaylock, so replacing them was a big deal. But the other guys, you know, we've got some depth that had come back on our front seven. So I thought they did a great job of getting after a really mobile quarterback today. And if they didn't sack him, and I think they had 4 on the day, but if they didn't sack him, they really they disrupted the timing of the throws and did some really good work there. So we'll continue to get better, but it's good to have. You know, I think Akaika was rotating 8 guys through there, so. You know, it's good to have that many, but there's still some things we have to correct.
Was it just the situation of the game and everything that prevented you from getting Collin in there?
Yeah, it was, and it's also us learning the new clock rule. I mean, we only ran 60 plays today, and I think, you know, there are other coaches around the country that talked about it. I understand the intent of the rule. You know, they wanted to shorten the games, but I don't know if the games are short. I think the games are the same length. It just seems like there's a lot more TV commercials, so I hope someone made some cash tonight, because they didn't watch football, but I guess maybe they're out buying a Chevy or a Burger King or McDonald's or something. So we spent a lot of time on the sideline during TV timeouts today, so we may try to get something going. I'm going to talk with the marketing people here and see if we can do some things during TV timeouts, because we have a ton of time, so maybe we can make it a little bit more eventful, and we can go into the crowd and talk to people for a while and then come back and start playing again. So we'll work through it. So just something we got to learn as a group. So.
And following up on the quarterbacks, how much of the decision making was in the game of who's going to be, you know, under center versus pre-planned? Like, you know, Dante gets that first touchdown. And then
Yeah, we had talked about, you know, Garbers playing at least the first quarter, and then putting Dante in at some point in time in the second quarter, and then putting Collin in situationally. Collin missed the beginning of camp, so he's just getting back into rounding into shape, and has done some really good things. But, you know, Collin not playing was 100% on me, and we explained that to him. But you'll see Collin next week. Collin will play against San Diego State.
The new rules after calling plays, coaching this game, experiencing the new rules, will you change how?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, we had 4 drives in the first half. I just looked up. I was like, we had 4 drives and 31 plays. Thank goodness we have Ken Niamatalolo on our staff, because that's how Ken did it all the time in the old Navy offenses. He was like, we had 8-9 drives a game, and it's just different. You know, the old days of running, I'd be really surprised at the play count throughout the country, but the days of getting 80 and 90 and 100 plays in a game, I don't see that. And it wasn't like, if you watched us in the first half, we weren't playing slow. We weren't trying to milk the clock. I mean, we ran a lot of tempo in there, but we still only ran 31 plays. And we drove on every drive, and we threw an interception on the second drive, but that was like a 12-play drive. You know, we moved the ball down the field. We only had 1 punt in the first half, but it was just, you know, we came in at halftime, and you're looking at your play sheet, and we hadn't called a lot just because we hadn't run a lot of plays. So I think we had 60 total. I don't know the last time. Usually when you have 60 total, you're not scoring 27 points or 28 points. You know what I mean? I've been on places where you run 60 total plays and you have no points because you're not doing anything. You're going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. You know, it's different. But the rule's not going to change. So we have to adapt, and we got to adjust, and you know, we'll learn and grow just like our players have to learn and grow.
Watching a lot of games today, it seemed like they adapted through tempo. They were just playing really fast today in games that I watched. Do you think that would be a natural development? Like,
we'll study it, but we ran double-digit tempo plays in the first half. So, you know, we did it ourselves. It's just different, you know. And when you're in situations with the referees in camp, because we don't play preseason games, you know, you don't get that. You know, because you never have a full game where you're going through it and understanding and how it works. It's new, but We got to adapt. We're not going to be dinosaurs. Dinosaurs didn't adapt; they died. We're not going to die. We'll figure it out.
Chip, you've got some experience in the NFL with this version of the clock rule and stuff, but is the tempo and stuff quicker than what you encountered there?
It's similar. You know, that's a good point by you. It's similar. You know, I think the play numbers in the NFL are similar to that. You know, we'll look at it all. You know, and we got our analytics people. You know, we've had multiple discussions going into this, trying to see how exactly it would work. But you know, it certainly has shortened. I don't know if it shortened the game, but it shortened the amount of plays. So we'll figure that out. We'll adapt to it. So I think people want to see plays. I mean, if you're paying to go to a game, you want to see plays. You don't want to sit around. So that's just my own personal feeling. So
Thanks, Coach.
okay, thanks guys.